Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome, guys. So we didn't intend on doing this one. We have another video we already did that we're going to release in like an hour, but
Yeah.
I want to push that one back because that was a fun one, sort of.
Yeah, that was fun.
To cover some news that I did find concerning. Let's just say that, concerning. So what you're looking at is a shot of a chart which shows daily terrestrial AIS positions in Chinese waters. So if you look at this, your question is, well, it looks like something went off a cliff, right? What went off of a cliff? Well, 85% of Chinese ships disappeared. AIS base stations seized along China's coast. So this is kind of disconcerting, because one of the things that if you've ever even watched a few war movies, let alone, read some historical accounts, things go dark before hostilities erupt, typically. Since early November, the number of, not just fishing, but cargo and just vessels in general, sending the automatic identification system, that's the AIS signal, from seas around China plunged by 85%. On October 28th, you had more than 100,000 ships broadcasting, but according to global shipping data provider Vessels Value, by November 17th, only 15,000 were broadcasting a signal. The automatic identification system is an international standard for ship-to-ship, ship-to-shore, and shore-to-ship data communication provided by the International Maritime Organization. The steep decline comes after China's Personal Information Protection Law came into effect on November 1st. It requires companies that process data to get approval from the Chinese government before letting personal information leave Chinese soil. This is something that is very much like what we have seen in lines with prior to other wars, major wars starting.
And definitely something to keep an eye on here.
Because what they're saying is, we don't want you knowing what's coming or going. Period. And here we see strategic AIS base stations seized and inventoried. According to a CCTV 13 news program, Focused Interviews November 1st, since 2020, Chinese security sectors have been investigating foreign-related maritime data companies and radio enthusiasts based in Beijing, Shanghai, Shandong, and other places. In addition, China's security agencies found more than 700 self-built AIS base stations on important islands along the coastline. The security sector seized a large number of base station equipment, intercepted more than 10,000 gigabytes of outgoing maritime data, promptly cut off the data leakage channels, and required relevant organizations and individuals to rectify and eliminate hidden dangers. Wu Chanbin, clerk for the Security Office, Department of Political Affairs at the Southern Command in China, said some of the land-based base stations were set up in our important military posts in sensitive areas. The scope of the base stations searching signal covers our key military areas. They can collect information about the movement of our ships. Such information can be provided to foreign countries in real time. It can be used by their military and intelligence departments to study the navigation trajectory of our ships and analyze our naval deployment and activity patterns. Those will result in the leakage of our military intelligence. According to the program on CCTV 13, many countries and regions used the AIS data of many domestic maritime data companies to collect information on the construction of China's offshore drilling rigs, track and graph the movements and activity patterns of the cruising and law enforcement of China's maritime police vessels. And, sanctioning happened as well. Now, Taiwan remains unaffected after the Chinese restriction of the AIS signals. So, basically that means that all the Taiwanese ships are exposed and visible, but the Chinese ones are not now. So this really feels very much like it's prelude preparations for, unfortunately, the big WAR that we've been talking about. And this article is also talking about that from freight waves. Of course, there is so much talk, as who knows where that's taking us. Okay, I guess it's just reloading. All right, let's jump over here. There's so much talk, and there was so much talk about all the cargo ships backlogged and what's really on them.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, there's all sorts of rocket systems that can be held and are actually transported in exactly those type of cargo containers and can be deployed. And there was even talk and thoughts of, could there be soldiers involved, troop transports? And then when we talk about this, the Chinese Maritime Militia, which is active in the South China Sea and was actually active off the coast of South America. These are outfitted. These fishing vehicles have been outfitted in a military way. And there's fleets of these that have been going across the globe. And many countries are very upset because, they move into their territory, say, off the coast of Colombia or Ecuador, and they fish an area dry.
Absolutely. We just don't know what's going on here, and they're definitely not going to make it easy either.
And, Cindy has not been getting anything on this. As far as from the guides, it feels like there's some sort of blackout going on, a
very
cloaking.
Much. Yeah, very much. So my emotions are very numb, very black. When I look at this, they're very ho-hum. So there's definitely some kind of an energetic cloak going on here for me to poke and prod and try to find out more information, which is really curious too, because it's just a total psychic blackout is what I'm getting with this. And these elites, they know how to do that. They know how energies work. They know that people can reach out and remote view quite easily, actually. And I've had quite a lot of practice, and I've never run into a situation where I just feel completely blank. Completely.
So they probably have other intuitives and people working on blocking this info.
Definitely.
And this is new today too. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken warned Wednesday that President Vladimir Putin could quickly order an invasion of the Ukraine if he had a pretext for doing so, but that NATO allies stand ready to inflict heavy sanctions on Russia's economy if that happens. There's been talk of troop movement on both sides ongoing. As you can see here, Russia planning aggressive moves against the Ukraine. Well, we shall see. It does seem like that is part of what is being put in plan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, as I was sharing with Cindy, we're coming up on like an 80-year anniversary of Pearl Harbor,
Mm-hmm.
Which is just basically less than a week away. And that was a day to live in infamy. And the next video coming up is going to be all about eclipses. And we do have an eclipse happening in just a matter of a few days. And there's some other interesting ones that are in our future. And then that video is a lot of fun. It gets into things with the moon as well. So Russia sets out position on dates for men. And, it's interesting because less than half of the country is officially up to par, however we want to word it, when it comes to Russia. And they're not putting any sort of penalties out there for people that decide not to go along. And it's just interesting to note as there is a much higher percentage here, and also in the UK, and also in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, and most of NATO, way higher. Way, way higher. That gets me thinking of certain numbers, certain projections, and those years again, like 2025 that keeps popping up. You guys remember that website that used to have a lot of interesting info and numbers and forecasts, and doesn't have it anymore, but I got screenshots.
Right, we got screenshots.
DEAGELEL.
Like Beagle,
like
but different.
Beagle with a D.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very curious to watch everything that's going on. And, I had come out saying like 4 years ago that I felt that that was related, those numbers were related to basically conflict and what we see brewing right now, as well as, other factors, which now we can really visualize, I think, unfortunately, a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
So again, prepare, prepare, prepare. Stock up food, all your basic supplies, work with neighbors and friends, get yourself making what they would call a victory garden, back in the wartime and in World War I and World War II. Keep sending out the positive vibes. Keep trying to wake up as many as possible. Make sure you are subscribed to both channels. We'll start publishing on Evolutionary again, as we did have 2 strikes on it that are going to be removed shortly, so we'll be able to post carefully again and go from there. So again, as always, be prepared, guys. Keep putting out the positive peace vibes and
Absolutely.
enveloping the earth in loving energies as we want to transform this into a heaven on earth. And obviously these powers that be have other thoughts in mind.
They sure do.
As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.